Well, good morning, physics, on the last day before Thanksgiving break. You know, Instead of being one of the nice teachers who lets you off easy and basically just says, hey, nothing for today, I'll see you in a few weeks, I don't know when I'll see you again, so I feel absolutely no compulsion to be the nice teacher. But I am at least doing something that's not you sitting and writing math problems, and hopefully it'll be kind of entertaining and informative, and you don't have to have it done until like December the 4th. So what I've got up in Google Classroom is I've got a new assignment for you. It's a PhET lab. There's a Google Doc that goes with it, which I've got a copy open that I'm going to be taking a look at with you guys. And then there's a link to a simulation. Now this simulation is a little bit different than some of the other ones you've run. It's actually running on Java, but some genius has found a way to have Java run in like a virtual window thing. So it works when it shouldn't work on your Chromebooks, but it might take a little bit longer for things to load. So I'm going to go ahead and click it on my Windows book here, and it's going to take a little while for things to get going. I mean, it could take up to like a whole minute or so, but just be patient with it, wait for it to get completely loaded. Going probably a little faster on mine than it will on yours, although I have run this on Chromebooks and it does run on Chromebooks. It's a little bit stuttery, but for our purposes it should work just fine. And you can tell it's old school. Look at those graphics. Conversely, if you're running a Windows machine at home and you'd rather do this on that, then you can just do a Google search for this particular lab, and there is a native Java version of it that you can run on your computer that should run a little bit faster. I just put the link to this one because I knew it would run on everything except iPads. I don't think it'll run on iPads. Anyway, we've got the main window here, and I might need to shrink my own fat head down a little bit more here so we can be sure and see everything. There we go. The baby in the corner. So we've got a few different tabs across the top of this simulation. The first one is just kind of an introduction, like it says. The second tab is a friction lab. Third tab, it gives us the ability to generate force graphs automatically. And then there's a game at the very end called Robot Moving Company. And I'm not going to delve too deep into that one. That's one that you'll be able to play with later if you want to. It's pretty cool. You end up trying to like move things to the house door without going past it, without eating it off the cliff there, by using the minimum amount of energy to overcome the friction. But anyway, coming back here to the introduction tab, let's take a look at a few of the controls. Down at the bottom, you've got a place where you can choose different objects. You can pick from a small crate, a file cabinet, a sleepy dog, a fridge, a textbook, and then a mystery object. You can choose how much force you want to apply, either by clicking on the box and typing it in, or by moving this. And you see when I apply forces, it shows me force vectors, and so I can even like pause in the middle of some of those. And you can click playback, and it'll actually play back all the stuff that you just did so that you can make observations of things. You can pause it, you can step it back and forth with the scrubber bar down here, and then I think that you can hit clear and click reset all over here to put everything back like it was. You can also fine tune and adjust things right here by the initial position of your object. You can decide where you want to put it, how far it is. You can put it right on the 0 line by just getting in here and typing 0. You can also put it like at the -4, the -6. No, I don't want you to record. Stop. You can check and uncheck a thing that shows you all the force vectors. So right now, just like on our free body diagrams, we've got force of gravity and the normal force that's acting opposite that. You can change whether you want the walls to be brick or whether you want them to be bouncy walls, which would cause the thing to bounce back after it hits. There's like way too much stuff to play with. You can also choose to turn off friction by making everything ice. Anyway, let's get back up to the actual instructions on this. Let me zoom in just a little bit. So they give you the instructions here, and it kind of tells you step by step what it wants you to do. Okay, so like on the first one, it wants you to pull the applied force slider so it reads 300 newtons. And then it asks questions like what happens to the force of friction, which is going to be the red one as the force increases. On some of that, you may not be able to answer all of these while you're doing it live, but because it's recording it, you can always hit the little playback control and play it back so you can get a better look at what just happened, so you don't have to keep going back and forth and redoing it over and over again. Let me see. I believe all of these are going to take place in that first tab, in the introduction tab. Now, what I'd like you to do, just for today, we're only at about 6.5 minutes, so I don't feel bad about saying, hey, go work on something for 10-15 minutes and see what happens. I would like for you to work down to this part on page 3 where it says calculating friction. Okay, I'd like you to make it through at least guiding question 6, and then the rest of this we're going to tackle once we get back from the holidays. We'll talk about things like coefficient of friction. We'll look at static and kinetic friction, okay, which we mentioned just in passing before we all had to leave, but we'll come back and take a little bit deeper look at. And then, like I said, get in that last tab, the robot moving company thing, and play around with that for a while. It's kind of fun. Just see what kind of score you can get. If you get like a really amazing score, feel free to screenshot it and rag. Okay. So I think that's really all that I wanted to show you today. Told you it was going to be short. Does anybody have any questions? Either type them up or you can unmute yourself real quick. I'm going to take that silence as a no, I don't, or no, I don't want anybody to hear my voice on the recording. So I'm going to go ahead and end the recording. Y'all have a great Thanksgiving break.